States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start by saying belated Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. A great day. The weather for a change, so I hope everybody enjoyed it. Okay, I need a motion to accept the April 14th regular town board meeting, the minutes from.
Motion.
That's by Howard, a second.
Second.
Charlie, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Supervisor's report. I just gotta find it. Month of April 2014. General A had a beginning balance of $53,481.44. Total received was $67,308.71. Total dispersed was $51,306.81. The ending balance was $69,483.34. Savings for the General A, $639,692.04. General B had a beginning balance of $4,863.85. Total received, is $5,690.91. Total dispersed, $6,113.95. And ending balance, $4,440.81. Savings for the General B, $88,767.39. Highway DB, beginning balance, $10,353.12. Total received, $57,002.91. Total dispersed, $49,531.51. Ending balance, $17,824.52. Savings for the Highway DB, $473,409.92. Highway DA, beginning balance, $26,751.22. Total received, $43,073. Total dispersed, $65,456.22. Ending balance, $4,295.73. Savings for the Highway DA, $550,170.76. Youngsville Water District, beginning balance $2,455.26. Total received $1,532.77. Total dispersed $504.93, leaving ending balance $3,483.10. Savings for the Youngsville Water District $15,417.04. Motion to accept the supervisor's report.
Motion.
Howard?
Yep.
Second?
Second.
Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Kim, would you do the town clerk and code enforcement officer report, please?
I paid $2,700.61 to the supervisor. I paid $686.89 to decals. Paid $26 to animal population control and $22.50 to New York State Department of Health for marriage licenses. And I received $1,955 from the code enforcement office.
Motion to accept town clerk, code enforcement officer report is read.
Make that motion.
Charlie, a second?
Second.
By Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tim, when you're ready, audit the bills, please.
General A vouchers 149 to 172 in the amount of $7,873.71. Also received $161 from William Romney, $409.92 from Verizon, $104.92 from Verizon, $21 from Dowser Water, $1,879.11 from Dennis Finley, and $375 from John Deal Masonry. General B vouchers 14 through 16, $750.29. Also received $140 from Sharon Erdman. Highway DA vouchers 60 through 71 in the amount of $36,518.63. Also received $685 from Tracy Road Equipment and $693.02 from Dick Palmer and Sons. Highway DB vouchers number 5 through 7, $52,127.39. Also received $5,140 from Vestal Oil. Youngsville Water District vouchers number 12 through 15, $1,309.09. Also received a bill from Micro Back Lab for $20.50, and the Capital Project Fund B vouchers number 1 in the amount of $4,212.72, and the Youth Program voucher number 5 in the amount of $7,100.
Make a motion.
Motion to pay the bills by Howard, second
Second.
by Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Warrants. April payroll check number 21437 to number 21451, and the direct deposit, the amount of $35,462.67. Motion to pay.
Motion.
Charlie, a second.
Second.
By Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The trust and agency checks for April number 4989 to number 4996, and the electronic transfers in the amount of $96,188.14. Need a motion?
Motion.
Howard, a second.
Second.
By Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Chris, our highway superintendent, report, please.
Okay, we're doing pretty well. Our stone is almost all in for paving, stockpiled in the yard for the cold paving that we're gonna do and the sealing, so, most of that is in, so that's nice, and we can get samples sent out to the labs from the Vestal and Sucoat and the different asphalt companies we use. The hot blacktop plants finally, both of them are open that we can get to in Monticello and Bridgeville, so they're open, as of last week, or the week before, and, we were gonna actually begin paving last Friday, but the rain, we had a delay, so we're, hopefully one day this week, depending on how the milling on 52 is going, but, and then, we'll be into a little bit of hot paving, and we're gonna mill up the top of Stump Pond on Wednesday, I think, so we're gonna lay some material on top of that tomorrow, but we're kinda working, of course, we're still working in between the school buses this time of year, so, we got a limited window
Those darn school buses.
when we go to close them, so, you know, we're working with, Shannon at the bus garage, but we changed a couple pipes already, and, we're getting into it, so it's time already. It's finally nice.
Okay. You guys have anything for highway?
Just thank the guys again for the good job at the cleanup as usual.
Yeah, I left that, I see we're gonna do. talk
Yeah,
about that on
We'll
Thursday.
get to that.
Okay.
There and have some numbers on it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris. Kevin, code enforcement?
Had a real busy month. Couple houses in the books, a couple driveways going in for houses coming up. Some logging going on. Had a class this month on hazardous materials. Other than that,
The usual stuff. Busy. Weather continues to improve, I would guess you'll be even busier, so.
yep.
Greg?
The only thing is I have my certification for that appointment that you gave me when I wasn't here last month, so I'll make sure that I remember the rule and I'll show up to the rest of the meetings.
Yeah, don't miss a meeting, Dave's gonna miss tonight, so
Easy.
have a
Stage
doctor's
turn.
appointment. So, thanks for that, and thanks for filling in for Bruce until I know he'll wanna get back on that board as quick as possible. Thanks, Greg. Anybody got anything for code enforcement? No? Okay, we got a pretty usual agenda for our May meetings, usual stuff, but we'll open it up now for comment for anything, any of our items on the agenda for now, if there is any. If not, we'll get into them pretty. Okay. Excuse me, first on the list is awarding the bids. As most of you know, last month we accepted the bid proposals from different vendors for stone, sand, asphalt, pipe. Those are the ones that we opened last month, did not award those bids yet. We did the mowing and town cleanup hauling and that stuff, but we have to do these, so we always give it, as far as the stone and the sand and asphalt, we ask for a highway superintendent to look over, make sure the specs are up to our specifications, and they meet them or exceed them, and then we leave it up to them to him to present it to the board to award these bids. So at this time, where do you wanna start, Chris? You wanna start with?
Yeah, well, maybe we'll go with the pipe. Being that the being that we do have a lot of state bid authorized dealers now for the ADS, plastic highway grade pipe that we use, I would like to, and they're on state bid, so we don't necessarily have to put it out to bid. And the situation that, that we were in 5 years ago, where we only had one supplier, one vendor, and we used to have to buy it by the tractor trailer load, was the original reason that we put it out to bid, to see if we couldn't get a per piece vendor around here. So that doesn't exist anymore. Now there's a lot of vendors. We had 4 proposals. So I think we're just gonna disallow, we're gonna reject all those bids so that we can buy from the vendors if we could. So if that'll be easy. We'll just reject all the pipe bids. And then the ice control sand,
Hold on
that's,
1 second, I guess,
okay.
before we go any further.
Oh, we need a
with
motion.
that.
Yeah.
I guess, so what Chris is proposing to the board is that since these bids, I think with the exception of one of the vendors,
they
one
were all
of
the
them,
same.
one of them
Yeah.
was slightly higher, I thought.
Right, 1 out of the 4.
Right, but they're all at state bid pricing. So, I know Association of Towns, in checking with them, that they would allow us to, as Chris suggested, to reject all bids, and, because they're all identical bids, and be able to purchase off of state bid pricing, which could be from any one of these vendors. So, if, the suggestion by the highway superintendent is to do just that. Any questions on that, or?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion to do that, and then, we'll move on to the stone and sand.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, it's a motion by Howard to reject all bids for the pipe, for this year, and a second
Second.
by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll still do as usual, we'll send a, listen to this, we'll send a letter out to all these vendors to, again, thank these vendors for the time, and tell them, you know, what we have decided to do,
Okay.
so, okay?
That's great.
Okay, you all right, need to go or anything, all right?
No. Yeah.
All right, so, go ahead, you go on, and we'll go to the next one.
Well, let's do the ice control sand. That's the one, just a single item there. So if we could award that to R&H Gore, who was the low bid on that.
Okay, that's on your second page, and that's for the ice control sand.
$13.24.
Per ton price of $13.24 delivered.
Yes.
So, need a motion to accept the bid from R&H Gore
Make that motion?
by Charlie. And second,
Second.
got ahead
Scott.
of you. Scott got ahead of you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Okay, so we went kind of backwards there.
now we'll go back to the first page. That's all right.
Okay. And, if
Yeah,
if
go
you
right
wanna
from the
read-
road, start right on the top and work your way down.
Okay, stone sand, delivered, Deckelman, $13.50, and FOB, Callanan, $9.50. Surge stone, FOB to Callanan, $10.75, and delivered to Bedrock at $15.25. Number 1 low abrasion, R&H Gore, delivered, $30, no bid on FOB. And number 1A, FOB Bedrock, $11.50, and delivered Bedrock as well, $16.25. Number 1, Bedrock, $8, FOB, and $12.75 delivered. Number 2 stone, Bedrock, $8 FOB, $12.75 delivered. Number 3 stone, Bedrock, $8 FOB, $12.75 delivered. Number 1 and 2 combo, Bedrock, $12.75 delivered. We don't have an FOB on that. And it's Bedrock, FOB, $8. They're all those are the same. Crusher run, we had Bedrock as well, $5.75 FOB, $10.50 delivered per ton. And blended sub base, Callanan, Bridgeville, $7.50 FOB, and R&H Gore delivered at $12.18. Anti-skid, PA, Bedrock, $9 FOB, $13.75 delivered. Riprap, Bedrock, $12 FOB, $20.50 delivered. And the stackable stone, R&H Gore, $26 delivered, and Bedrock, $26 FOB. And the bids for asphalt, we only had one bidder, Callanan Bridgeville. Type 7 top, $65, Type 6 top, $63. And that's it. We're gonna go with the low bidder on all of them.
And that's FOB.
Yep. And that's FOB only, that's correct.
Okay, pretty plain, clear and simple. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the bids as read and suggested by Highway Superintendent.
Make that bid, or make that motion?
Okay,
Who's buying it?
Sure.
motion by
I'll
Charlie.
second
On the
it.
driveway one.
second by Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that completes awarding of any of our bids for this year, correct? Okay, then we have David Bodenstein from Mike Price Insurance. David said the lady had another meeting to go to first, so we'll hopefully be here before we're done. Next is a little update on our cleanup that was held last weekend. And I think Chris can tell you a little bit, but we had a pretty busy weekend again.
It was, I think it was average for spring. We had either 12 or 13 containers. I'm not exactly sure yet, because he pulled the last empty one today. So we haven't been invoiced yet, but I think we had 13, but it may be only a dozen, which I think we've had anywhere from a dozen to 15 in the spring, so
Yeah.
pretty, but busy.
Right.
It was busy, and lots of, I think we did 3 metal poles as well, so I think we're pretty average, but in good shape. And yeah, I think it went well. So definitely continuing, and not slowing down at all.
No. Well, we'll have some conversation about that. We do 4 days and sometimes 3 days, but
Yeah.
I know other towns that do one single day. We think it's a great service that the town as well as the county can help provide this to help clean up our roads, which some of them really need a lot of cleaning up. But if we don't offer this service, I believe our roads would look much worse as far as the
We had
litter
a lot
on the
of people,
sides.
we had a lot of homeowners cleaning up roads. It was really nice.
Yeah, we just opened, I spoke about this when we set the dates, I believe, is, I know we do have a few people that have used this, each and every year it seems. I think we're gonna be watching for them. I know code enforcement has kind of brought it to our attention a bit with
Yeah.
some
Couple of
people maybe
specifics, yeah.
running a bit of a junk business and keeping what's valuable and bringing everything else to us, and we're just not gonna allow that to happen. This is, we have a two pickup limit per household, and, we've given a little leeway before to some people to try and help them out. But we're going to be watching it closely, so we don't want people abusing it. We want them using it, just not abusing it, so. But as I think Howard said before, or Charlie, again, our thanks go out to you and all the men that help make this possible. Okay, just a reminder, there's some A flyer up here, there's some back on the sign-in table for the Greek festival that's going on the end of this month, May 30th and 31st and June 1st. This is held by the Greek monastery, and if you have any places of business you'd like to take some of them, they've asked if people would help distribute some of these flyers so people will know about this, and as the flyer states what they have going on. We hope it's a successful event for them, that maybe they'll do it on an annual basis and bring some positive things to the town and our park as well. We've completed the kitchen area now at the park, and will be available to anyone that wants to use it, or if it happens to be an out-of-town resident, to rent it. And we think that's a really good thing. Along that same note, we do have our first annual Town of Callicoon Auto Show that we're still planning for the 3rd day of August. It's a Sunday, same day as Callicoon Center Fire Department's Pancake Breakfast. We hope that too will bring people into our town and see the beautiful little park we have, and any proceeds from that will go to benefit our youth recreation board that goes towards everything from our summer basketball to winter to, we're looking into purchasing some playground equipment for the park over there as well. And if anybody has ever purchased playground equipment for a municipal park, we need to raise some funds. It's quite expensive, but we think it would be a good addition to our park. So that's what we're working towards. So August 3rd, and I'm trying to drag it out here for David Bodenstein, but he'll do it.
Did the Greek, are they all squared away with their permit
We're going to
Insurance.
meet with them, I'm gonna try and set up a meeting with them next week, as long as you guys can be around. You know, prior to it, we've received insurance.
You have, okay, that's.
We
what I'm
have, there was
concerned.
a
All right.
problem with their insurance, they sent us last year's policy, the expiration date was right on, so they're supposed to be sending us a new one. But, yeah, they've been pretty cooperative with trying to do what, code
Okay,
enforcement.
that's the only, I'm just concerned because if you're gonna have a big, you know, a lot of people there, as long as
Yeah.
we have protection with that.
Pickup out here, the vehicles running, the lights are on.
Ready to leave in a hurry. That's maybe it's yours. Okay, yeah, I think Marla, we're gonna meet with, the organizers of that event, we'll try and get it together, I let Daphne know that. so
Okay,
that
that's just,
We
that's
can
fine.
kind of finalize that, so.
Since you're stalling, can I add?
I got a few other things, but you can when we're done, okay?
Okay, but it was about the rental fee for the town park. I assume that's public knowledge.
It is, yeah, okay, and do you have a question about it, or it was so
Just
much?
wonder how much do they pay? How much does anyone
It was $150 per day,
per day?
Yeah.
That's a set.
yes, yeah. Residents are not charged, so, okay, but this activity is out of our town, the monastery is actually located in town of Fremont, so, okay?
Okay.
Okay, got an email here a while ago requesting that the board had a chance regarding local control for speed limits, and I just wanted to bring it up, if you guys had a chance to look at that. Basically what it is it's kind of a campaign to bring local control over our local road speed limit. I'm not in favor of it, quite truthfully. I think it would be a burden on the town to try to do that, for a couple of reasons. And I think, I don't have to really get into that, but I wanted to bring it up. We did get requests for it, but I will say that I am opposed to that. I would like to still leave it to our state or county for any of our local roads, and we have to petition them. I mean, if the board collectively feels that if there is valid reason to lower or raise the speed limit, we have to petition state or county, so.
Who would be responsible for the signs if we did change something? If we went along with that?
Well, I would guess Charlie, ones that do now, starting the speed limit signs?
Yeah,
Well, we do post the signs, but if we,
but doesn't it have to be
There's-
what the county approves on a county road?
well, the state actually, it goes ultimately to state. I usually talk to Dermot out of the county, and then from their engineers, they have to have the state come down, and the state actually does a study on the road. So it's a long drawn out affair, and that's why people get frustrated, because they call me and ask, oh, there's only a handful of our 83 roads that the town owns, you know, like 83 roads, and there's only a handful of them that actually have a set speed limit on them, and most of those, you know, a lot of those people consider too high, and so it does. I mean, it's a long process, but we also don't have the equipment to do the studies that the state does. You know, we just don't possess it. Maybe the county has. You know, we have the least. The county has a little more. The state has everything, basically. You know, as far as that stuff goes. So, I mean, it is frustrating for people, and that's where this probably arose, because I've had a lot of farmers call and ask about getting speed limits reduced. I've had, you know, of course, where there's lots of houses now where there wasn't. And as you know, you pave a road, it's actually, you know, the few that are new every year, they get paved, people go fast, and cars go faster every year. It doesn't seem like you're going fast when you're sitting in a new car. So the state is really, they don't like to lower it, and they really especially don't like to give like 20-mile-an-hour zones. If you're not in a school zone, you're not going to get it, and people find that hard to understand, and it is frustrating. But also, once even if you set the limit, and we put up a sign, nobody follows it anyway, unless there's a trooper sitting there.
Enforce it anyway.
It's unfortunate. So anyway, I mean, I completely get it. You know, we see the cars whipping by us every day when we're working, and it is scary. So, but as far as we don't have the equipment to set, even if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to do a study as thorough as the state could do. So it,
But there is a process in place for.
process in place. I usually call Dermot at the
Yeah,
county.
petition for-
He has sent me emails. We've had this a few times already, you know, and I look and see if it's actually one of the handful of roads that we do have a speed limit set on, and then I post the correct sign. And if it's not one, unfortunately, you know, it is a long process to get one set. But and ultimately, a lot of times it's not as low as people want anyway, unfortunately. So
Well, I think the biggest issue is the enforcement. I mean, you can make it any limit,
exactly, yeah.
but if there's no enforcement, which there's very little of,
We've had
doesn't matter.
we've had things where, you know, if there's a sharp turn, something, I can put up a cautionary yellow sign, which isn't, you know, it's a cautionary, it's an advised, you know, speed limit, so it does have a number on it, but it's not, that's not the law, it's advised, you know, so. We do what we can, but, we don't have the equipment to do the study that the state does, but I understand the frustration.
This is, again, this is a request from an organization that's trying to, again, petition our state legislature, so, you know, I can ask the board what they think on this, but I've told you my feelings on it already. I agree with everything
Yeah,
that you
unfortunately,
said.
it's just not, it's not possible for us to, unless we bought a lot of equipment that we're not gonna
Yeah.
use much,
So,
we can't do it.
Right. No, it's, in theory, it's nice,
Yeah.
you know, but
I
So
think
I
it-
don't know how
It's a
we,
noble idea.
how we can, really, you know, if it came down to us instituting all the needs to go into establishing
Yeah.
a proper speed limit, it's just not feasible.
Tom, if you are waiting for David, you can do the public comment
Yep,
first.
just
You don't have to wait till the end.
Yep, we'll do just that, Norman, so if, the board will just take no action on that, there's no action required, I wanted to bring that up because I did see it. I have one other, note received as an email, and I don't know if Stephanie Johnson is here, I haven't met her. Okay, from Ridgeback Sports, and I'll just send it to her, I sent her an email today, but they're trying, her and her husband own Ridgeback Sports in Callicoon, the hamlet of Callicoon. Currently in the process of trying to set up a half marathon and 10K called the Bald Eagle Half Marathon and 10K, taking place Saturday, August 30th, 2014. Planning to start the race in front of our store on A. Dorer Drive, going out to North Branch, Openburg Road and back. As of now, we have planned route map and are going to go forward in certifying the course pending board approval. We'd like to have one lane in North Branch Road and Openburg Road closed for the race starting at 8 a.m. for 3.5 hours total. I'm just bringing this up to kind of give a little notice of their event. It's a noble cause this year, but it isn't the town board's decision. That's a county road, and that's what I advised Ms. Johnson to contact county DPW, but I welcomed her to come to our board meeting and plug their event, which I just did. So it's, again, August 30th, and if I have any more information next month, we'll bring it back up. Just wanted to bring that up. So at this point, since our insurance representative's not here yet, we'll just, Nancy.
They are residents of our town, the Johnsons.
I'm sorry.
The Johnsons, they are residents of our town.
Chandler?
Dyer, Diaper.
Yeah,
Okay.
French.
All right, I don't believe I've met them, but the business is in Calcom, but that's all right, we can plug their event for them, just that we have nothing to do with helping them close the county road, so. Okay, we're gonna go into public comment while we're waiting for David Rodenstein to come, because that was the only thing left on our agenda list, unless the board has anything else they'd like to discuss at this point. No?
I'm good.
Okay, but Ms. Superintendent of our Sullivan West School, Nancy Hackett's here, thank you for coming, and,
Well, thank
You
you so
have the floor.
much. I appreciate the chance to just kind of remind everyone that we have a budget that we have put in place. As you know, if you live in the state of New York, it is not necessarily the easiest process anymore because of the fact of all of these different things that we are getting, these different mandates that come from the state. I really am very pleased and proud of the work that, and I'm gonna apologize, I'm behind you, of the work that our school board did to put this together. If you looked at the budgets that were compared in the Times Herald Record, you will notice that we are the smallest rollover budget of all of the budgets in Sullivan County. What we tried to do is preserve our programs for our students and our staff and our faculty. And with that, we really narrowed margins, worked very hard to keep things intact, making sure that we're servicing our kids at the highest level possible. But we were able to do that by really trimming things down and making it a possibility to have our budget from year to year at a 1.3%, and that the tax levy limit is below the limit. So what we are at is that this makes all of our taxpayers, if they are eligible, when the state is talking about doing their tax property freeze, which is a year from now, it will make all of our people in our school district eligible for that. And so that is, we took a number of things into consideration when we put this together. So we just wanted to make everyone aware of that. You all probably received this, and you'll notice that if you follow the school newsletters, you'll notice this one is in black and white rather than the blue. We're saving on our ink. We are definitely taking some steps. That being said, all of the budget information is in the center of that. So I just wanted to make people aware of that at this point in time. And of course, last but certainly not least, is that I missed my 4:15 phone calls with Chris in the morning about snow days and road. It's amazing at 4:15 that you can have such a chipper voice on the other end of the phone. But we did bother him and went to his office and recognized him and his staff for the amazing work that was done. The school cannot thank you enough for the fact that we got all of our bodies there safely and our buses all ran and we got them all back to where they go. And we're just hoping we can get to June without any snow or without incident at this point. And thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Nancy, if you would just,
Sure.
just give us a little update on the progress of any of the ball fields and what works.
Well,
if anything, right now.
we're pretty excited. We've got, of course, you can see the roof. That is our premier project that we were so happy that we could finally get all of that slate onto it and have it finished up so nicely. The next layer of that is that you'll see over at the high school, they're gonna start to break ground at the high school it's gonna be a handicap accessible to that ball field. If you've ever been over to the football field and you try to go down to the field, I mean, you have to be pretty agile to go down that hill. What we've decided is, wouldn't it be nice to have a nice walkover so that anyone could access those bleachers? So we are gonna be doing that work. We are going to make some practice fields and some ball fields over there. At the same time, we are starting to look at the fields here at the top of the hill and to take a look at that wonderfully flat piece of property. We're taking a look at that and we're working with, our architects are looking at it from the perspective of what would that look like to make that into some fields and some opportunities for students and for athletes, as well as what does that do to impact the next level, which of course has the track on it, and we have money set aside to resurface the track. We won't do that until we take a look at that and see just how that water flows. So we've had a number of different groups, and they've looked at where the wetlands are and what that is all going to entail. So we've got a lot of great work happening. I think the exciting thing for our facilities and our grounds guys is that we are going to be able to have a storage building down on that track campus so that we can put the hurdles and the mats and all that equipment away in the wintertime, and it doesn't have to necessarily come all the way up the hill and be stored at the school. But we'll also be able to put some of our trucks away and get those ready so that if we have a winter like we did, they will be ready to go as soon as we get them out in the morning, and they'll be, fueled up and ready. So that's where we are. We do want to also thank Justice's Garage. They let us borrow one of their bays. It was so cold this winter, and we had trucks and you all know this. If you leave a truck outside in that sub-zero weather, that is not necessarily the best thing for us. And they worked with us to use one of those bays to keep one of ours up and running, which was important. So, and it's the age of those trucks, some of them need more attention than others. So we've worked very collaboratively with the town. You guys know that. You've been great. So
Thanks
Thanks.
for coming. Ball game here today, I believe they might have played Eldred. And
We
my
did.
back is pretty sore, I was getting into my truck leaving the office today, and I actually got hit with a foul ball. Twice. I truck once, before I picked up the ball, I went to get back in, same batter, fouled off right off my back.
You need a mitt.
I heard that from Mr. Santa.
Or a smaller target.
Anyway, so we were told we don't get hit with foul balls, but we do. Thank you. come anytime. One last thing before we go to further open comment. I just want to bring up, because I spoke with Mike Schiff, our Sullivan County Sheriff today. I had a number of calls over this last month regarding some burglaries, specifically in Youngsville. And not that the town board really has anything to do with that part of it, but since I had some calls and residents and most notably some business owners were concerned with recent and ongoing burglaries. I know we've had several around in a very small vicinity in Youngsville, and I know there was an arrest made. There's ongoing investigations to some other ones. But what the sheriff suggested, as the board would too, that if you see anything, you know the old saying, see something, say something. But the non-emergency line for the sheriff's office is 794-7100, and you'll get a menu, just press 1. It'll bring you to the road patrol. If you see something out of the ordinary, most everybody has cameras on their phones. Take a picture of a car or a license plate number. According to Jim Farrell, our district attorney, burglaries actually have gone down, almost 15%. Just seems like we have had a rash of them. Hopefully we'll find some justice in that, but just be on your toes, kind of watch. You have neighbors that are away, and you know, just be a little vigilant about that. So, but Sheriff wanted to tell you to make sure that use that non-emergency number for something like that. Okay, I'll shut up and let the public have their say in public comment. You're open up for now. So anybody, way in the back.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Sybil Sanchez. I always sit by the electrical outlet because I type up the meeting and send it to the River Reporter. But I'm a relatively new resident of Jeffersonville. I'll have been here for 2 years in June. I live on Main Street, and it's just right in line with what you were saying. In the past few weeks, we've really noticed a lot of activity on Main Street in Jeffersonville. Police have been called at least 3 times that I'm aware of. We're just seeing more of a presence of, you know, most likely, you know, illegal activities, drug activities. And I just wondered if you have been hearing about it or what your response is to it. It seems to be coming with the nice weather, and it seems worse than what I've seen in my short time here.
No, to answer your question, you know, the only calls that I've actually received, and the other guys can tell you, that is regarding some burglaries in the Youngsville vicinity. But, you know, I have no knowledge of what you're saying. Not saying it's not happening, but I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Another
There you
question.
are.
The Youngsville, you said vicinity, have the burglaries been more in the built-up area or up on the hills, kind of?
Well, no, they're just in close proximity to each other, and you know, there's been arrest made, but there's been other burglaries too. So, but it's kind of been to one area of Youngsville.
Right
but,
along 52.
Yeah, it's not limited, but
Yeah, right, but the majority, I think the heaviest of it has been right along 52.
yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bose, I'm giving you the papers that I'll be talking about.
Okay.
My name is Linda Reich. I live in Chantilly. I'm a biochemist, and I've been giving a series of talks to the town board to inform them about the peer-reviewed science about fracking, and now we've expanded into climate change, and now we're going into methane leakage. In April, I presented 3 peer-reviewed publications to inform the board that methane gas causes 100 times more heat trapping to the earth than carbon dioxide gas in the first 20 years after its emission. The highest contribution of methane emissions in the United States is caused by the gas industry, and natural gas is 90% methane. Methane is more detrimental to the atmosphere and the planet than coal. Last week, on May 6th, the United States National Climate Assessment Report was published. It details current and predictable consequences of warming temperatures in each region of the United States. It concludes, quote, "The most direct way to significantly reduce the magnitude of future global warming is to reduce the emissions of heat-trapping gases. The cost of ambitious emissions reduction targets are relatively small over the decades, that it will take to implement them, unquote. In April 2014, the United Nations IPCC was published and concludes that every nation must drastically reduce emissions of heat-trapping gases to the atmosphere within 15 years to curb upcoming irreversible heating of the Earth. Why is the Earth approaching irreversible heating? Simply put, there will soon be too much long-lived heat-trapping gas in the atmosphere. Burning oil, coal, and natural gas releases carbon dioxide gas, which does not break down for hundreds of years. And there is a positive feedback cycle associated with methane emissions. Positive feedback means that once a particular process is started, it continues on its own. An example is the melting of Arctic ice. Where there is less ice, such as in 2013 summer when ice was at an all-time low, there is less reflection of sunlight from ice, and there is more absorption of sunlight and heat in the dark-colored ocean water. This causes more ice to melt. When Arctic ice melts, very large amounts of methane buried within it are released directly to the atmosphere. The cycle repeats itself with more heat-trapping gas released and more ice melt occurring. Methane leakage occurs across the entire process of horizontal hydraulic fracturing and transport of gas. The gas industry does not use best practices. Insufficient regulation of methane measurement and recapture exists. The gas industry is exempt from at least 10 major federal environmental protection laws, including the Safe Drinking Water Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, reporting use of hazardous chemicals, and reporting the disposal of toxic waste. I am submitting 4 examples of methane leakage locally. Number 1, in 2011, the entire length of the brand new Millennium Pipeline was closed for 9 months of inspection and repair of faulty welds and gas leaks. Number 2, in December of 2013, in Long Eddy, the Millennium Pipeline operator performed venting of gas directly to the atmosphere from 10 miles of pipeline in a pipe connection procedure. For several years, number 3, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection has been delivering letters to homeowners stating, quote, their investigation indicated that gas well drilling has impacted your water supply, unquote. Previously, I gave the Town of Callicoon Board several of those letters. Number 4, in March 2014, in East Harlem, New York City, a utility company was present and responding to a gas leak when an explosion killed 2 people.
That's right, I'm gonna
This
interrupt.
photograph is
I'm gonna
venting of
interrupt
gas.
you again. I gave you an extra minute this time, and I know you're very adamant about your presentations, and I thank you, but we will continue with our 3-minute rule, and I've actually allowed you over 4, so, but I thank you, and we'll keep this in your file, so I have to go on to the next speaker.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next time, we'll talk about methane leakage in the
Okay.
peer-reviewed science.
Anybody else have anything?
I
In the back.
address a question to Linda?
I'm sorry?
Can I address a question to Linda?
After the meeting, if you like, it doesn't have to be during our meeting. Anybody else?
Mr. Bose,
Yes, ma'am.
it seems to me that
He
public
can
comment
speak
should
to
be
you after the
allowed.
meeting, as much as he'd like. You've given your
Would
presentation.
you like to ask them a question?
You've given the presentation to the board. He's
Yes,
asked
I-
to speak,
then-
yes, and
yes.
he's
Would
asked
you
to
like to
speak
ask
with,
a question to the
excuse
board?
me, he's asked to speak with you, so if you want to go outside or after the meeting, you can speak.
Can I ask
I've
you-
already called on this gentleman here. Thank you.
My first question is, are we allowed to ask questions about policy decisions and give input to you and receive feedback about why you would or would not consider such input? And you could stop me and use any part of the 3 minutes to answer any of these questions as I go along. Have you even heard one thing I've suggested? I mean, I've sent several letters to you asking for just responses, just to see what you think about some of the suggestions. Is anything that I said worth a response, or do you think I'm crazy? Did you even read the letters? I mean, we read 2/3 of the one. It would have taken 3 more minutes to finish that last letter. I'm asking for help. I sense that you're not listening to me, and I'd be very encouraged, even if I got answers back like, hey, we thought about it, but it's a ridiculous idea, can't be done. Do you have any responses? I mean, I'd love to sit and, I've heard one thing, even from the February 5th, 2013 letter, 15 months ago.
Let me just interrupt you 1 second. I don't know what you expect us to answer you, Ron. You've brought this up time and time. To answer your question, are we hearing you? Certainly.
A
we're hearing you.
timeline is what I'd like to know.
Certainly we're hearing you. A timeline.
Should Cuomo say, yes, we're fracking, does that mean we're ready to go, or are we gonna sit and watch these other states these other towns upstate. I mean, do we have a right to know that? I would need to know how much time I need to figure out how to get rid of my property and not take a loss. You might think it's no big deal, but to me, it's my Waterloo right now.
Look, I'll correct you right there. I think it's a real big deal. And I think this board has made it very evident that we think it's a big deal. It's just right now, I don't see it worth the time. We're allowing you, like everyone else in this room, or anybody who wants to speak, the 3 minutes, just so we don't run on half the night about something that this board
Not
has
asking to run on
already-
half the
You
night.
did not submit, read a letter last week for the 3-minute time period. Another resident continued your letter.
Right.
I did not receive a letter to read.
I gave 5 letters so that every one of you would have. I handed them to Kim so that you would have it. I mean,
Well,
there was also another letter I wanted to read on the back of that, and, you know, I have questions from Marvin. I think we should be looking at these things before, if all of a sudden he says, go ahead and frack, and then we're gonna be running around.
no, we're not, Ron. Now, I'm not gonna get into debate with you here tonight. There's agency in place called the Department of Environmental Conservation that have said they will be the ones that will be in control of this process. I'm not gonna get in debate whether we should, we shouldn't, or anything else. It's not gonna be the town of Callicoon Town Board, okay? Yes, do we have planning in place? Do we have zoning in place? The answer to that is we do, all right? And so I'm not gonna take all night to debate something that's not even an issue. Probably won't be until after Governor Cuomo decides he's gonna run for president or not. And that's my personal opinion. It is not the opinion of this board.
I agree.
So
Who
when
knows
he,
when
when
it's
he
gonna be.
decides to make, they're putting it off on the health department, okay. Ultimately, it's gonna come down to the governor of this state to make a decision. In my personal opinion, he's not gonna do it one way or another until he makes a commitment to run for another office. That's my personal opinion, not this board's. So I'm not gonna take that back. I'm not gonna take a lot of time of this board or the people in this audience. I understand your concerns. We've heard them. Yes, we've heard them. That answers your one question, okay? If you wanna submit a letter, just like Ms. Reich has submitted a lot of literature to this board, we'll continue to take that, review it, and again, this is something right now that this board is not going to spend a lot of time on until that time comes. And I'm sure, and I'm not guaranteeing anything, this board will be very prepared to do whatever it takes to handle whatever becomes before it. So, and if any of the board members would like to add to that, but then we're gonna move on. I know we have Jerry in the back that would like to say something, but I wanna ask the board members if they'd like to say it, because we're gladly gonna take any comment you have. If you wanna come to every meeting, that's your right. We respect that, and I admire that. But you have a right to speak for the 3 minutes.
Would never get really an answer. What
It's
about a
not,
bond
it's
issue?
not a
I'd ask-
debate, it's not a question.
Not a
and answer.
debate.
I
I
think
think
the
the
answer everybody wants is for us to ban gas drilling or hydraulic fracturing
Or protect people that are gonna be.
put us at this point financially? We have no fight to fight. Look at the town, is it Highland, that has a lawsuit
several.
against them? What's that?
Yeah, Highland is one.
I think the position we've taken is the safest position for us to take at this point. Financially speaking, there's more to look at. We have to look at that aspect of it too. And to ban it right now, or
I'm
to
not saying to
promote
ban
it,
it.
we haven't
I
done
already
either one.
accepted that we're probably gonna be doing it. I would like to know, is there any way you can help us fight what is gonna be immense lawsuits with these companies if our land is polluted? If Cuomo says no, it's not even an issue for me, but if he says yes, you're not gonna be, it's gonna be your, well, it's polluted, it's gonna be mine. You guys can see the town slowly. Well, you don't believe that. If you were living on a river, well, yeah,
Affect mine too, Ron. I feel as strongly about it as you do. I don't wanna have my water
So
polluted.
should we suggest putting a bond forth, or should we be thinking about how we would deal with this, you know? Is it, I'll read this one line from this, it says, legal responsibility for protecting lives and property in the south towns, and it's the same for all towns, rests not with the DEC, but with the elected members of each town board. I mean, who's gonna help us? These companies, and I suggested a bond issue, because that's the game, should we even be looking at what's happening all over the country, and how towns can handle it, and people can handle it?
All over the country is not New York State, okay? All over the country is not the town of Callicoon. And what we have said, this board has said along, our belief is that if New York State does allow, and you're talking about hydraulic fracking, if it is allowed, this board has been of the opinion that it will not be in the town of Callicoon. Certainly not first. You have a public that is very, very much opposed to it, number one. Number two, it's not allowed in the Delaware River Basin at this time. It's not allowed in New York City watershed at this time. Out of our 5 zone districts in this town, if it ever were to come, it's not allowed in 3 of them.
But see, most people don't know that because they didn't take the time to actually read the comprehensive plan or our zoning. So I know there's a lot of people that are aggravated with that. Our opinion has been, right or wrong, I believe it to be right. If it's allowed, it's gonna be in the southern tier, where it's a more accepting public, where it's in the Susquehanna River Valley, and where they've been doing it already. Not fracking, but drilling. Our opinion has been, this town will watch that. We've said this time and time again. Who's ever on this board, whether it's me or the other members, I would hope, would watch this activity as close as can be and take the right actions at the right time. At this time, there is no reason to take any action other than what we've done. I'm not saying any more. We're gonna go on to the next speaker.
The last federal and UN reports have indicated significant increases in the amount of water in the atmosphere, rain, snow, whatever. What are we doing in terms of budget to protect ourselves from that? Increased snow, wilder rivers, what are we doing with that? Anything?
With budget, in our budget?
Yeah, I mean, if
What
we need a budget
what
for
we've been
snow,
doing
or
for-
budget for river preservation or home preservation from the rivers, recently, I remember from this meeting, there was a river that was, eroding the banks, and we had protected the home there.
Well,
Right.
a river, but it's creek. If you're
Creek.
talking about flash flooding,
Yeah,
almost all towns that live in, that are located in our basins, our valleys, have experienced it forever. Has it been a little more often? I guess I would say, yes, it has. What have we done? We've done a lot, as much as we can, and keeping a responsible budget. Trying to maintain the roads so people can drive them safely, just what the superintendent of highways said before. We pave a road, we get people complain, and I'm one of them, because our roads, as many roads, county and state, need improvement. Okay, so we improve a road, then we get a call, people are complaining because people travel too fast on them. So what are we doing? We're creating year after year of responsible budgets to try and do that, take care of our infrastructure. And I don't think I have to tell you, I'm not gonna brag, but this board's been very responsible about that for many reasons. Do we have any control over climate change? Did everybody drive here in a gas-powered vehicle tonight? I did. No, I drove in a diesel-powered, sorry. But my point is,
Did anyone come on a horse?
we should all do something, all right? And I think the town board is doing what we've been elected to do. I know there's concerns. I know you have many. That's been very evident, and I respect that. And I hope you respect what this board's done. Is there anything else?
by the way, horses increase methane.
Don't stand behind one.
With this Greek festival, I was just wondering what the parking arrangements were that were made, because I know they're hoping to have a lot of people, and
Right.
we don't have a lot of space.
To answer your question, yeah, you're right about that, and that's been a concern, not only of the town's code enforcement, as well as the organizer. I know they've contracted with Hills Resort
Okay.
to use their properties for most of their parking. So I think the code enforcement officials have been pretty good about, no, really good, about listing their concerns for that. So, yeah, and there's just no way of knowing the amount of people. There's a
Yeah.
big event going on in Bethel that same weekend called Mysteryland. That's a big draw, I'm sure. Hopefully it's a successful event, and, but I think that's probably
I
one of
just
the
didn't want
places.
to on my lawn.
Well, it's a way to make some money.
Yeah, right?
Ever been to Walton Fair? Just get out there.
$10 a car.
We hope it's successful for them, we do, so. Oh, I'm sorry.
Also, I believe they're gonna use a shuttle bus from the
From the monastery,
monastery
okay.
and bring people down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because again, that's one of the things with not knowing number, and we know the parking's certainly limited. They're having portable lighting for the time of the event to try and help with that area. And they have own security that they've hired. And again,
So they don't need my dogs?
If there's nothing further, I just ask the board if they have anything they want to address. And if not, we know David hasn't shown up. I know we had another meeting, but we do have some time. Marvin, what was the date on that again?
I think June 17th.
June
That's,
17th.
okay,
So we
that's
can
what I
take
thought.
care of it the next meeting.
Yes, we'll still have insurance through the 17th of June, so this gives the board members, our NYMER insurance is our general liability coverage provided through NYMER, which is administered through Mike Price and David Bodenstein. So we'll,
Make a motion to table it?
that's a good idea. I need a second.
Second.
No, that was a tie. Do that over.
Howard can have it.
Howard got the second on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's all I have. Thank everyone. And I need a motion.
Got it.
Howard to adjourn, second.
Second.
By Scott. Thank you, everyone.